Link engaged.
Visit us at TeamSpeak.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, meine Damen und Herren, señores y señoras, welcome back. It is game number 3 between RaNgeD and ZeNEXYong here for the Team Liquid Open number 24, of course sponsored by TeamSpeak. We are on Shadow Temple and ZeNEXYong as the Orange Brothers this time here at the 9 o'clock at close position by air. At the 6 o'clock we have RaNgeD as the Purple Protoss player. So most people who do know my casts, most of you actually will not know my casts, but I always, once when I cast a tournament, go for the all-international introduction, like I like to call it, to greet most of the viewers in their own actual language. So I will be going to do just that. So ladies and gentlemen, guten Abend, good evening, bonsoir, buonasera, buonanotte, good avond, good kveld, dobre večer, jo estet kivanok, grüezi wohl, Shalom alaikum, shalom, konnichiwa, xin chao, annyeong, namaste, kamusta, bonum vesperum, ionara, tuning in from all over the world. It is maybe Sunday morning, it is maybe Saturday evening, it is maybe Saturday afternoon from wherever you're tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the finals so far. I certainly did. It is RaNgeD against Young. Young is up 2-0, so RaNgeD needs to make something happen right now. Young in the last game on Shekuret's plateau with a 1-gate Blink Stalker aggression was very successful, because if you're up 2-0 in the finals in a best of 5, you are quite confident, and we have to see how this is going to plan out between RaNgeD and Young right now. Because if you're successful in the finals, if you're up 2-0, you don't have to be that nervous anymore. Oh yeah, I have basically 3 match points left. I can lose a game, I can lose another game, and then I still have a chance to win this thing. On the other hand, if you're just getting too careless, you need to watch out not to make any mistakes. The comeback word exists for a reason, and is RaNgeD going to be able to just make use of this term comeback? Will he be able to start a comeback, or is ZeNEXYong able to seal the deal, put the nail in the coffin, or any other word and verse like this? Now RaNgeD finishing with a cybernetic score, of course, chrono boosting his warp gate research right away. The same is going on for Young. We see the first Stalker is queued up right after the first Zealot for Young. The Zealot is out. Meanwhile, the Zealot is out for RaNgeD as well. RaNgeD chasing the Probus away. The first Stalker coming up for both guys. So, as always, the build is the same for both guys. And now there's something interesting. Here at the 6 o'clock we can see that RaNgeD is actually the player gets his gas first. Always in the previous PvP matches he was getting his second gas later. Never mind, Special Andre being not so special at the moment, so I was doing a little bit of a misjudgment. Happens from time to time. Young is actually having once again his assimilator already finished. Which does this mean? This means business as usual is going on. There we can see RaNgeD going for the robo facility, Young adding gateway number 2 and number 3. And why change your build? It worked in game number 1, it worked in game number 2, so why should it not work in game number 3 as well? But RaNgeD, who lost game number 1 and game number 2, maybe he needs to change his build, maybe he needs to cheese, maybe he should have gone for a little bit different build, because apparently Young is able to deal with this build of RaNgeD just fine. Maybe RaNgeD is thinking, okay, I lost the first game because I was not splitting my DTs. Maybe I lost the second game because I was expanding a little bit too fast, and this mistake will not happen once again because my build is a good build and I will be able to win with this build. With RaNgeD might be able to think here. Now, of course, like in the previous PvPs we saw by Young, he is getting his robo facility right after the third and the second gateway are finishing. RaNgeD is going for the Twilight Council after he is having the robo and his 3 gates finished as well. There is the single observer by RaNgeD flying over there, because yes, when you get your robo a little bit faster, you are able to scout a little bit faster too. So here is RaNgeD with his observer. What does he see? Yeah, gateway number 1, 2, and 3. He spots the robo facility as well, so in that regard he should be just fine. RaNgeD is getting his blink because the Twilight Council just finished for him. So maybe he should go for a little bit more of an aggressive game right now. Close air on Shadow Temple means, oh yeah, you can blink down of your main base, you just take 2 steps and boom, suddenly you can blink up in your main base. In the main base of your opponent. So maybe if you're just sending 1 or 2 zealots at the front of his ramp, keep him distracted, and boom, suddenly you blink up in the base of your opponent, taking out maybe the cybernetics or even more important, the robo facility. You might actually be in a good spot. Now RaNgeD got this a 3 Stalker squad and the Observer here to wait if there's an Observer by Young. Now the Observer of Young is moving in here from the left side, so he does not want to take any risk just by flying straight over to the base of RaNgeD. Most likely he's not going to scout me, so I can kill him right away. With my scouting is not going to happen, so very, very smart scouting play by Young. He did scout the Twilight Council, he knows about the robots, so that's why he just pulled back with his observer for the moment. Now RaNgeD here with his probe at the natural expansion of Young, seeing, okay, there's no base, having his probe here on patrol to see if there is going to be a nexus at the natural expansion of Young or not. Now RaNgeD got this single, I'm not really would call it a proxy pylon, but maybe a half proxy pylon at the top of the center of the map, so he will be able to reinforce from the side, maybe to go for a flank attack with his gateway units. He's got the Stalkers and he might be able to blink up. Young does not spot anything, so he does not know if those Stalkers will actually be blinking up or not. So RaNgeD absolutely did have the opportunity to do some damage, but he decides not to take this opportunity, so I'm not too sure about it. So RaNgeD, by the way, he finished with his Nexus at his natural expansion, got some probes mining there, so he's basically going for the same build like in the last game, but Young is not going for the 1 base, a Blink Stalker all in. Instead, he is going for the Colossus build. And take a look at this Colossus. It is 1 single Colossus and so many Zealots, because when you go for Colossus and the thermal lens as well, oh yeah, you don't have much gas left. That's why he is forced to warp in some Zealots instead of some other Stalkers or even some Sentries. Now what does this mean for both players? Of course, Colossi are very, very good in Protoss versus Protoss. They can deal a lot of damage, especially with the thermal lens finished. On the other hand, he does not have the best economy compared to RaNgeD, and the longer RaNgeD is not being attacked by Young, the better the position for RaNgeD will be. Now Young is starting to go for his Nexus himself as well. There we can see the Nexus is being warped in, but it looks like RaNgeD is about to blink in the main base once again. There he is blinking in. Nice force fields. Of course this time RaNgeD not being able to not doing the same mistake like in game number 1. He's not unnecessarily losing too many forces, just lost 2 Stalkers. He was not able to take out the robo, but one thing, he was able to scout everything he needed to scout. He knows, okay, there are 1-2 Colossi on the field already. I only have some Stalkers and a bunch of Zealots at my natural left. He's got some High Templars, but those High Templars most likely will not be used to go for some Storms, but instead will be some Archons, because in Protoss vs. Protoss, Archons and Charge Zealots are a very, very good army composition if you have to deal with those kind of Colossi, because oh yeah, your Charge Zealots can charge in absolutely without a problem, because the Archons can stomp any force fields, so those Zealots will be able to just attack right away. On the other hand, if the Protoss player who's having the Colossi is able to provide enough buffer to hold off those Zealots for long enough, your own Colossi will be able to do quite a lot of damage. Now, ZeNEXYong is the one going for the +1 attack already. He's got it 1/3 done, but take whoa. RaNgeD getting really, really bold, and it's not very often that we see a Protoss player even going for a second expansion. So here the Nexus is coming up at the gold, so this is quite a bold move. And maybe RaNgeD knows, okay, I might be a little bit too much behind. Let me just take this gold and try to start a comeback here. By the way, RaNgeD is having this Robo Bay out. He can get some additional Colossi, and he's already going for it. He does not have a single Colossus on the field, but he's getting his first one, got 2 Archons and more High Templars to be able to warp in more Archons. At the same time, there is the Observer of Young moving in once again. He spots the Templar Archives, he sees that there's a chrono boost on the Robo facility, and pretty soon he will also spot those remaining units. But no, the Observer is holding on for just a second. He did not see the Colossi just yet, but he is able, maybe I might be able to assume that there are some at the same time RaNgeD here with the Stalkers, poking a little bit at the natural expansion. But not even going for an attack or pulling back, having a Stalker here to check if the rocks are still there, checking if those rocks are still there at the gold. So in that regard, oh yeah, he is doing just fine. He knows, okay, my opponent is still on 2 base, I expanded a little bit sooner, and I already can mine from the gold. So let's take a look at the harvest account. 59 for RaNgeD, 46 here for Young. So RaNgeD is up by a good amount. 11 harvests, this is always a good thing to have, more than your opponent. So RaNgeD now needs to make use of this superior economy, especially considering since he's able to mine from the gold mineral patches, his gold mineral income will be even higher than when he is just having more probes mining on those blue mineral fields. Now there is Young taking out the rocks to his top left corner expansion. He might be able to do some more damage there in terms of getting up another Nexus, having more probes, mining more stuff, because in StarCraft, rule number 2, more stuff is always a good thing. Now, we can take a look at the supply. It's 157 for RaNgeD, 125 for Young, so RaNgeD is getting more and more ahead. Having 20 more army supply, always a good thing. Now, RaNgeD using his Stalkers to take out the destructible rocks, to go for a possible 3rd expansion even, and 3rd expansion in Protoss versus Protoss. What are you talking about, Andre? This is not possible. Actually, it is. It's not very often, but sometimes wonders do appear. Now, Young is adding some High Templars as well. High Templars and not Dark Templars, because he will have some more minarets left over to warp in additional Zealots. That's why he uses High Templars instead of Dark Templars for the Archon. But take a look at how many Colossi Young is having. 7 Colossi are quite a bit still. He does not have so many more Gateway units to provide some additional protection for those. Meanwhile, of course, RaNgeD having less Colossi might be in a little bit of trouble. On the other hand, he is nearly maxed out, 190 supply RaNgeD. There we can see Young getting another pylon. The scouting probe of RaNgeD is taken out, so RaNgeD knows what's up. RaNgeD getting another Colossus out, so he will be on 5. The +2 weapons attack will be finished pretty soon for Young. The +1 attack is finished for RaNgeD as well. So for the moment, the upgrades are the same, but not for long. More Colossi, more Archons being merged, more Zealots being warped in, so both guys getting as many units as possible. Now RaNgeD is maxed out, he's got a good production going, and there we have the big engagement going on. Guardian Shields here for both players. The Colossi, it's just the war of the worlds right now, doing so much more damage now. The Archons on the left side for Young, able to move in quite fast, but the Archons of RaNgeD just taking so much more damage. It is just Colossi left. RaNgeD in a very good supply lead, just taking out one unit after another. RaNgeD even warping in some Zealots directly in the face of the Colossi, and all those Colossi go down in just 1 second. GG is called, and RaNgeD actually is able to go for a comeback, at least in game number 3. Not just yet tying up the series, but taking game number 3 to have it 2-1 situation. Still Young got 2 chances left to take home the victory here for the Team Liquid Open number 24 finals. So RaNgeD showing as there was some bold expansion play, he still is able to make something happen. So in that regard, props to him. Game number 4 will be up pretty soon. But let me just do one more thing. Thank our sponsor, Team Liquid's not Team Liquid. Of course, Team Liquid always is a good thing to have. I am pretty thankful for Team Liquid existing, because without Team Liquid, in terms of StarCraft 2 casting, I would not be there where I'm currently am right now. So I'm very happy for this. But the sponsor I was talking about early on is absolutely TeamSpeak, using this program for many, many years now. And well, what can I say? Thank you. And we are going into game number 4 right after this.